Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about what it's really like to live in the Dominican Republic. But before that, if you are new, thank you so much for stopping by. Please press the red subscribe button, that's a hard one to say, and the like button and comment below. And thank you so much for stopping by. So, back to what we are talking about. I just lived in the Dominican Republic for 6 months. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I've been traveling for the past 4 years doing jobs in Australia, saving and traveling. And this was my first time working abroad. So I'm going to talk about, not about my job, but about living in the Dominican Republic as a foreigner. So, first things first, it's not the way it looks like on Instagram. So, the beaches in the photos can look so clear and blue and romantic and relaxing, but in reality there are so many people. I'm joking. Okay, so it is so beautiful there that the pictures don't do justice. So it's way better than the photos, but at the same time it's reality. So let's say you go on an excursion to one of the most famous islands called Saona Island. There are going to be a lot of people there. 6,000 tourists go there every single day, so don't expect to be alone. That's just one example, but like the nature and everything is so beautiful, and it sounds crazy, but like every beach I went to was just better than the next one. But just remember, there's more to a photo, obviously, than just a photo. There's a whole story. So that's one thing. The nature is incredible, but it's not exactly the way the photo is. It's very close. It's better and worse in different ways. Anyways, number 2, culture shock. Man. Whew. Okay, I traveled in Africa for 9 months solo. I traveled in Asia for 7 months. I've traveled in the Middle East many times. Nothing was like here, okay? And I think this has a lot to do with the fact that I lived there, because a lot of my travels, like I'm moving through, it's like, oh hi, this is a cool culture, this is a cool language, this is cool, and you see it on face value because you're not living with it. I think that's like a best friend. No, not like a best friend. It's like, let's say you meet someone and like really cool and they're so exciting, and then you live with them. It could be a lot better than you expected, but also there's that whole package underneath, like you learn so much more. So the culture is so different, and I'm sure if I lived somewhere for 6 months I would have a similar experience. But let's just touch on that. Being foreign, you're treated like a tourist, which I'm sure is very typical in third world countries. But like, I was living there, so I have to be like, trabajo aquí, yo vivo aquí. So people wouldn't treat me and try to sell me stuff when like I work there. The way that they treat women is different. Like, I'm not going to use the word aggressive or romantic. It's just very touchy and close. And like in Western countries like Australia, it's like personal space. And over here they didn't really know much about that. It's not really part of how they interact. A lot of my experiences are based off my work because I lived very closely with my colleagues, and I can touch on that in another time. But yeah, the culture shock was very intense for me, especially being like gringo, rubia, le como rubia. Rubia means blonde. I ain't blonde, but I got a bit of red sometimes. My mom's a redhead. So you can get a lot of, I'm not going to call it catcalling, but I was very uncomfortable in the beginning. But I kind of learnt how to go through that. So I could talk a whole video about being white or being gringo or being foreign. Like, I respect the culture so much and I wanted to embrace it and be involved in as much as possible, but I'm still a foreigner no matter how long I live there. So yeah, just the big culture shock. And that moves on to language. Language, it was very difficult. Like, majority of the people don't speak English unless you go to the main city in Santo Domingo. Even I worked in a resort and scratchy throat. Lot better. Okay, where were we? The language. Okay, the language was not easy for me. Whew. I wish I would have come with more of a foundation. It was very hard to be like smack bang into a country for 6 months without any foundation of the language. Everyone's like, oh, you're gonna pick it up, like, oh, just speak it, just try. And it's like, I don't know what I'm saying. Like, I don't know where to start. I can copy you, I can like say phrases, but like I would recommend, if you're like moving somewhere and you don't have any basis of the language, to like come a little bit prepared. My job was full-time and I didn't have a chance to study it, so I want to study Spanish now. I really love the language, but yeah, that was a hard one. Not many people speak English, and yeah, you can get by. I mean, I have basic English. I have basic Spanish now, but very limited. And if you're living somewhere, like I moved here for 6 months, you want to be able to relate to the people on a bit of a high vocabulary level rather than very superficial, like basic, limited. My friend was really good at it. I struggled a lot, so everyone's different. Another thing to take into account when you're moving to a new country, or you're repositioning, or you're doing a contract for like an extended period of time, and this country is, I'm not going to say third world, but of a different level than your country. So my country is Australia. I come from a very western country, and the pay is pretty good for average jobs. So I was getting, like, if I did the math, I wouldn't be able to consider it a job. Like, you're coming to a country where the pay is very different, and if you're living there and if you're working there, your pay isn't going to be what you get. Like, I'm talking about if you're working in a company or a business or a tourism enterprise outside of your country, even if like the owners are Western or from a European country, they can afford to do business and have hotels and have these experiences in that country because they're paying their workers the wage of that country. So even if you come and like your pay is different, like don't expect to have the same pay that where you came from. It's very different. Like, you are living in paradise and you are getting the pay of paradise. So just keep in mind, if you are moving abroad, don't expect to have the same pay. Like, let's say you're even getting a job in a cafe or just a normal job that in your country you can get a pretty good wage. Don't expect to get the same wage. That being said, it's not a cheap country to be in. The Caribbean is very interesting because I've traveled in Africa. Africa is also not so cheap, but like Asia is like, pooh, you could like get a meal, a great meal for a couple dollars here, like beans and rice. I could pay $7, like, and let's say a tourist place, I could be paying like American dollars for meals. Transport isn't cheap as well. Renting cars are just normal price. Like, don't expect it's like cheap just because it's a different like economy than yours. It's still not cheap to travel. Like, no. And that brings us to travel, public transport. What's it like to public transport in the Dominican Republic when you live there? Some people do get cars and they're moving around a lot. For me, it didn't make any sense. Like, even to rent a car on my days off, I only had like one day off a week. In my like second week, I did rent a car, and this is the reason why they all say don't rent a car. We had a crash. Like, people drive crazy. I wasn't driving, and it wasn't a crazy crash, but people drive crazy, and the weather's also crazy. The roads are very different, and narrow. They can be like very narrow with like a lot of potholes, and if you're not used to driving there, if you drive too slow, it's dangerous. I was recommended a lot not to drive, so I drove with a friend from local, and even then, like we had an accident. Then there's insurance, and it's not fun. So the rest of my trip, I only did public transport, and it was fun. I managed to get around the whole country. Like, I managed to get to lots of really, really cool places. So public transport is accessible, and again, it's not cheap. So it's just like massaging my head. I don't know why. Yeah, it's not cheap. Also, the buses, like if you're taking big buses, are freezing. So always remember to bring like a jumper or a scarf or something. If you watch my stories, like I'm always like on the buses, forgetting every single time how cold it was. I don't know why. They always love to like roast their air conditioners in the buses and the cars. Like, you get into a car, it's like, can I turn it off? And it's like, are you cold? I'm like, it's like minus 11 degrees in here. Like, what's your problem? I think they just really enjoy ACs in automobiles. Like, roll down the window. Like, the DR is warm, but like, honey, I'm freezing. Anyways, public transport. So the basic types of public transport, there's different types. So like if you're in a small little town where I lived, there's a thing called Wawa. Guagua. G-W-A. G-W-A. I'm making it up, but something like that. Wawa. They say Wawa. Anyways, it's like a little van, and they like circle like every 15 minutes, and they'll take you pretty short distances. And they're pretty cheap, like 70 cents or whatever. Like I would take Wawa to the main city to take a bus to the main city where all the big buses are to around the country. So Wawa's like typical for like foreign countries that I've been to, but in each place they have like different systems. So in this system, you catch a Wawa at certain spots. You can just ask around and hop in. They usually wait till they fill up and then they leave. So sometimes straight away, sometimes you have to wait a second. And one time I was so busting to the toilet and it wasn't getting full, and I was tempted to just say, I'll pay for everyone, let's just go. But I didn't. I waited. I made it. Oh my god, toilet stories on buses. I have another one. We were on like, there's a big bus, and like I could go like a day without going to the bathroom. But when it hits a certain point, there's no going back. Like, it's an emergency. So we're on this bus, and like for some reason I was drinking a lot. It was one of those emergency moments. I like ran to the front of the bus and like, stop. He's like, no, we're stopping at the stop. I'm like, stop. Okay, whatever. We stopped, literally on the side of the road, ran out, pulled my whatever I was wearing, leggings down. Like, I was with a friend. She's like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, there's a toilet across the road. I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm seeing stars right now. I just peed there and then, like, try to find something. That's not the first time I've pulled over. Like, I've stopped a bus just to pee. It's horrifying, that feeling. Like, I think because I'm on a bus, I know my body knows how desperate it is. Like, if I'm just like walking around, like, I won't feel the emergency, but like, I don't know, psychological, who knows. Anyways, we're getting off topic. So public I still have a scratchy throat. Where's my water? Yeah, so the public transport is a fun one. Okay, so then you take your Wawa to a bigger bus, and most of the public transport goes via Santo Domingo. Even if it's a different direction, you have to like exchange buses. So there's like this bus station area. Like the first time, everyone's like, hold your belongings, be careful, it's not safe. Like, just normal precautions. Like, I don't know, I felt more unsafe in other places, just in the beginning, whatever. So there's a whole area of buses, and like you figure out where your next bus is. It's all pretty close, besides a few times when I had to take like a different company, Karibator, so that was further, but usually where they drop you off, it's a similar area where they'll pick you up. There's Uber in Santo Domingo, so that is fine. There is no Uber in Punta Cana. There are like motorbikes you can pick up on the road, but Punta Cana is just full of like huge resorts, and you probably organize your transportation with your resort. But like, I didn't love Punta Cana. Whatever, that's not what we're talking about here. Anyways, as a solo female traveler, I was working, so as a solo female, what is it called when you live somewhere? Foreigner. I managed to get around the country a lot, and that moves us on to safety. Safety when you're living somewhere. So I was living abroad for 6 months, and what was safety like for me? So first things first, like the time that I moved to the Dominican Republic, it was quite a bad time in the media, and everyone's like, why are you going there, blah blah blah, this and this happened, this and this happened. Honey, like, of course you have to take precautions. Like, I always do my research before I go somewhere, but you really have to go there to experience it. You can't just like listen to what people say and all these bad experiences and all these like negative stuff in the media. Of course bad things happen, but like, you can't be stuck in a box in a locked house for the rest of your life. Like, go live a little. I was fine. I didn't have any negative experiences. Of course, I didn't travel anywhere at night by myself. I didn't carry around wads of cash. I didn't leave my bags. Like, I'm not saying people that have bad experiences, it's their fault. I'm saying just take precautions and do research, ask people around, get comfortable in the place before you start doing stuff on your own. That's what I do most of the time. Like, I learn the strings and then I get more comfortable. But yeah, normal precautions. Like, I felt so welcomed with the local culture. I enjoyed the experiences so much. I enjoyed meeting new people. I enjoyed traveling. I enjoyed the beaches. I enjoyed the mountains. I enjoyed the diversity. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the bachata. Yeah, but it's just a different country, and it's a different lifestyle of living. So if you are considering on doing a contract abroad, or like moving abroad to a different culture and economy than yours, I hope this video helped you in any way. If you want to DM me and inbox me or ask me any questions, I'm more than happy to go into detail on any of these topics. Please comment below what you want to see in a new video. I have so much to share, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and bye for now.